beware, beware. This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. Good morning, everybody. Let me look at the damn newspaper. That's Tuesday. Good Tuesday morning to everybody. People, I started this show about 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And I got to tell you, if you wanted to listen, you can listen. See, it's like a psychiatric treatment for me. I say what I want, when I want, about who I want, because of my First Amendment rights. Everybody else has the right to say what they want. I never approach anybody and stick a mic in their face. I'm not aggressive. I'm not violent. But I do love my First Amendment rights. And we all should love our First Amendment rights. But you can't go around threatening everybody. You can go around all the time exposing people. That's what the First Amendment is all about, expressing your opinion. You can't threaten people. You know, I've got ignorant asswipe, jerk-off son of a bitches threatening me every day. They think it bothers me. But I got to say, you remember when I got on Ron Dupert running for judge, a bad candidate, people, a real bad candidate. He sent a political hit piece out on that judge, and I don't even want to mention his name. You guys know who he was. I don't want to mention the name. I don't want to hurt the family anymore. But I ragged him. I didn't have a dog in that fight. Now I got a dog in the fight. I've got a couple son of a bitches, and two of them are Sprague and Kern. And if you don't want to listen to my personal situation, or if you don't want to listen to me anytime, just turn the radio off. I didn't sneak in there and super glue your knob to 1190 or 1430. But I started this fight with Kern and Sprague because they're ass-wipe, rotten bastards. They're no good for the county. They've been in politics. Sprague's been in politics 50 years and's been a bum the whole 50 years. Couldn't get elected to anything. That's why he never runs. But he's behind the scene making all that money. And you guys, same way with Garrett Harner. But when somebody comes out after a family member that's not deserving, you know, it just pisses me off. And, well, we'll talk about Kimbo McAfee, Kimbo. But you know what? This is one of the biggest idiots I know in my life. I'm going to read some of the stuff that he pled out to, some of the stuff that they alleged he did. This is Kim McAfee, was a Washington Park police detective. Walked around in the summertime in a fur coat, a full-length fur coat. I witnessed it. Don't say it didn't happen, McAfee. And McAfee says, well, I'm going to throw bricks. I don't play like the rest of them. Hey, McAfee, I got something you can play with. Probably the same things you played with in prison. I don't know. But don't threaten me. Sends these asswipe comments out on Facebook. And he sent some nasty stuff out about my son. So, McAfee, you got nothing coming for me. But see, people, that's the way these bastards are. All these thug son of a bitches, both black and white. The biggest thugs are the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee, the culture of corruption, and I think you people have found it out. These Democrats don't know what to do, people, and I don't mean the mainstream, the rank and file, the decent Democrats that work every day. I'm talking about the organizational Democrats and the organizational Republicans. They don't know what to do with us. These guys, the Democrats, have spent more money this year than they've spent in the last 10 elections. They're all worried. Maybe they win, but if they win, it's going to be because they've stolen the votes. Hell, Trump's talking nationally about vote stealing and vote fraud. Everybody knows it goes on in St. Clair County. And by the way, Tom Holbrook, Mr. Haney, they tell me that absentee ballot will be started to be open today, absentee voting. Guess who just walked in to Tom Brooks' private office? They shut the door. Bob, I'd rather piss in my pants than piss in a urinal. Sprague, do you get drunk? I'm asked, do you get drunk at the Casino Queen, hovering over your wife that you think somebody wants? Unless they were Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder. I don't think they'd want her. And I'm not talking about his family member. I'm talking about the auditor of St. Clair County. I don't pick on anybody's family. Patty Sprague's been in the ring, in the political ring, so she can get hit. But you know why this greedy son of a bitch, Bob Sprague, has her in that office, an office that she's got at GED. She's not qualified. The only qualifications, in my opinion, is she's sleeping with that no-good son of a bitch. And for that, she should make $1 million a year. You've seen Bob Sprague. How can anybody touch that no-good, stupid son of a bitch? And Sprague, come get me, you ignorant bastard. You come after my son. He's gone. Now come after me. You and Kern. And people don't have to like me. But how nasty, how egregious is it when they come after a family member? And I've said it before. And it wasn't because I'm a good guy. It's because I'm a human being, a decent human being. When Mark Eckert's dear mother passed, I sent my condolences on the air, and I said that I wouldn't harass him for a couple of weeks because he needed time to mourn. That's what a decent person does. Not an ass white bastard come after somebody's family member after they're dead. Ron Dupert, Kim McAfee, you ignorant bastards. But anyway, Sprague's up at the courthouse today, pigeonholing Tom, Mr. Haney Holbrook. You know Mr. Haney. Mr. Haney, I got a deal for you from Green Acres. This sleazy bastard. And Derek Wallace. If you're listening, Derek, give me a call. People want to try to get a hold of you, and I told them I don't know how to get a hold of you. Maybe they just Google Derek Wallace on Facebook or on the internet. But you tell me that you've got a website, and I don't want to help facilitate that at this time. So they've got some nasty allegations. But Holbrook, you ought to be worried about you and your future, your legal future, not this election. You don't need Bob Sprague in the back room telling you how to run this election, how to handle those votes, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. But people of St. Clair County, it's time for all of us to stand up. We talked about yesterday about all the expungements. Now, they've got this no-good, ass-wipe, good-for-nothing, low-life bastard, and I'm not talking about Kim McAfee right now, but I will. James Haywood. They tried to appoint him to the county board last year, and I exposed him for his record. 47 charges, people. You ought to see the rap sheet on this gentleman. But Bob Sprague is endorsing him for county board in Cahokia. Bob Sprague is giving him money. The St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee, the St. Clair County Democratic Culture of Corruption, they're giving their felon money, and they support a felon. But Bob Romanik, you can call me your friendly felon, I guess. Bob Romanik's a no-good son of a bitch. They put it all over, and sometime I am. 47 charges, people. He's a felon. James Haywood, running for county board out of Cahokia, supported by Bob Sprague, supported by Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. And again, I was just told that the gay and lesbian community is totally and highly endorsing Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. So maybe I know why you got that name back in the day, Sweet Cakes, but you no good rotten bastards. But anyway, it's a hypocrisy, people. That's what pisses me off. You hear me say that? You'll hear me say that every day. I'm a no good son of a bitch because I'm not one of their felons. But what about Joanne Reed? What about James Haywood? What about the rest of these no good sons? What about Kim McAfee? They're all felons, but they're felons that vote Democratic. They're felons that go out and however they get votes, they get them a lot of votes. And you know how that however is. They don't talk about their felons. Come on, Sprague. Kern, you guys are, I believe every one of you guys are felons. You're just not convicted felons. You're not a felon until you get caught doing something wrong. But you guys, go to the circuit clerk website on James Haywood. Now, here's the most egregious part of it. I exposed it yesterday. Now they're getting a continuance. They were supposed to be in court here, and I see the case court appearance history. I have it in my hand from the St. Clair County Circuit Clerk's Office. October the 20th, 2016 at 1:30 p.m., courtroom 409, a hearing expungement. Appearance complete pending. They're going to give him an expungement. They give Joanne Reed, and Joanne Reed, that fright wig you got on, they ought to sell that for Halloween. You guys got to go to stltoday.com and type in Joanne Reed. Jesus criminy, she looks bad. But she should. She should for all the things she's done in her life. And remember, Joanne, Merle Justice took care of you, kept you out of all kind of crap. But this was a picture of July 2014, just 2 years ago. Now that they made a special deal for Joanne Reed, after 2 years, she can get her record expunged from a felony. Now she's back running for mayor of the same town that she embarrassed. But see, people, it only happens in St. Clair County because you let it happen. You good people let it happen. You know, lines are open. You can call toll-free. Anybody want to call and talk about these ass-white bastards, you can call toll-free, 1-888-394-1430. On the east side, 394-1190. Let me know what you think about this corruption in St. Clair County. I don't give a damn if you're a Democrat or Republican. You people aren't numb. You people are far from being stupid. The St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption, they think we're all stupid. But think about it, people. If you were in trouble, a family member, a friend, you don't get your record expunged. They've expunged Joanne Reed's. They're trying to expunge James Haywood. They tell me that Kim McAfee's up on his knees every day in Belleville trying to get his record expunged. Kim McAfee, the crap that you've done, I don't believe that anybody, well, this is St. Clair County, but Kim McAfee, we might as well get on him again. See, I want to give you people in the underbelly. You don't understand what's going on. All you do is read a little bit of the crap. East St. Louis security company owner indicted for defrauding the government. That's you good people. Kim L. McAfee was indicting for defrauding the school district, taking away for our young children, and the East St. Louis Housing Authority inflated his bills and blah, blah, blah. He owned a security company, was a former detective in Washington Park. Worst detective, and I was a chief out there. They laughed at Kim McAfee. This guy went around the strip clubs, would sit up at the bar at the strip clubs giving dollar bills when he was supposed to be investigating crimes. But that's one of their guys. That's one of their guys. This goes back from 2006 to 2011. And he took money from School District 189, money that the school district didn't have, but he agreed to pay some of it back. I don't think it was ever paid back. McAfee, 16 charges of false statement, 15 counts of mail fraud, 3 counts of wire fraud, and 3 counts of falsifying records. And he's one of the Democrats' felons, so nobody talks about him. He supports LaToya Greenwood. Nobody talks about that. They don't have a picture of him and LaToya Greenwood together. That's a hypocrisy. And then McAfee, and this is in the, I believe, the Belleville paper. No, the St. Louis paper. Kim McAfee also has been the subject of an investigation since a witness in a St. Clair County murder case. Now listen, and this is one of the Democratic guys. That a witness in a St. Clair County murder case alleged that McAfee bribed her, she's alleged to bribe her to lie about seeing him at the scene of the killing of Washington Park's mayor. I asked McAfee, why would you try to bribe somebody about seeing you at the scene of the killing of the Washington Park mayor? And I would ask, if you were there, why the hell were you there? But this is one of McAfee. This is one of McAfee, not Kevin McAfee. He was a proud Washington Park policeman, his brother, but Kim McAfee. This is one of theirs. This is one of the St. Clair County Democratic supporters. You don't see their name in the paper next to LaToya Greenwood or Bob Sprague or Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. Also, well, this was good. It bars McAfee from ever working as a police officer. He wouldn't make a pimple on a police officer's ass. And here's another case with Officer McAfee. And people, I'm giving you all this, and it's just one individual, but it goes on and on and on with their felons, with Sprague and Kearns and everybody at the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee's campaign headquarters. There's more felons up there than you can imagine. They don't talk about their felons. But here's another case with McAfee. Civil rights violation. McAfee shot into a vehicle stopped at the gas station in Washington Park. He held 2 men who were inside, then released them without charges 24 hours later. Now, this ignorant son of a bitch shot inside a car, held 2 men who were inside the car, and then released them. Now there was a civil rights violation. McAfee. The U.S. attorney said he operated as a crook with a badge. Hey, speaking of cooks, McAfee's out there, very successful businessman, selling $6 plates of food in Brooklyn. They said somebody got sick yesterday. Now they're going to file a lawsuit against Kim, $6 a plate McAfee. Why do they call you Butt Boy, McAfee? I know why they call Butt Boys in prison, and that was your nickname, wasn't it, McAfee? Call me, McAfee. Call me. He said on his Facebook, when everybody throws rocks, he throws bricks. Well, you throw a brick, you idiot. But here's McAfee, the U.S. attorney. He violated his oath to uphold the very laws that he flaunted. He cheated low-income employees in an economical disadvantaged area, East St. Louis. He lied to the FBI agents who were investigating this very troubling shooting incident. That's Kim McAfee, a supporter of the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption. You don't hear those guys talk about him, do you? You don't hear these guys talk about Joanne Reed, do you? You don't hear these guys talk about James Haywood, 47 counts. But they'll talk about Bob Romanik. They'll talk about Carl Officer, knowing Bob Romanik, talking to Bob Romanik. That doesn't make Carl Officer a bad guy. Carl Officer doesn't dictate what Bob Romanik says, what I've done in the past, or what I'll do in the future, as I don't dictate what Carl Officer does. I don't dictate what Roger Cook does. Don't let these bastards bloody up those good candidates because of me. I'm far from being perfect. Don't vote for me, but don't. Don't let the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption, the Democratic organization, not the rank and file, not the proud rank and file Democrats. Don't let those no good ass white bastards sway your vote. And they've spent over $1 million. People, they're going to spend $1.5 million to try to stop us. Hey, let me talk about our good friend in Belleville, Mayor Maximus Vaginas Eckert. Mayor Mark Maximus Vaginas Pussy Boy Eckert. He cried. They give him a raise. Now, people, he's going to be making $80,000 a year. He doesn't deserve $10,000. But these politicians, they all want a big money grab. They should be doing it for the love of their country, not the love of money. The only one, and I want to salute him, was Ward 2 Alderman Mike Bittner. Was the only alderman to vote against the salary increases. And Mike said, I just can't see raising the salaries of politicians when we keep raising the taxes of residents in the city. And we have a lot of people in the city on fixed incomes. And I'm tired of taxing these people to death. I want to salute Mike Bittner for that. The only alderman to vote against the pay raise. And there was some good aldermen. Roger Wigington, some good aldermen. And I ask you, decent people, why would you vote for a raise for that ass white bastard? And speaking, we filed a complaint against Mark Pussy Boy, also known as Maximus Vaginas Eckert. Go buy his flower shop don't buy any flowers because they'll wither. They'll wither like his reputation's withered. He's got an electrical cord running from his business across the sidewalk onto an illegal cooler in the street. You can't have a trailer in the street unless it's hooked onto a car. But they tell me the alderman of Belleville said it's okay for him to do that. Hey, you ass white bastard alderman, you can't give him special dispensation. People are afraid to walk underneath that electrical cord, and I know it's not code. I would tell anybody in Belleville that's having problems with the code enforcement to have them go by, and we went by and taken pictures. I think the newspaper has it. You cannot walk down the sidewalk, because if that electrical cord happens to jar out of that cooler that's sitting in the street, you could be electrocuted. But that's okay, because it's Mark Pussy Boy Maximus Vaginus Eckert. Do you see, people? Do you understand what's going on? Not just in Belleville, not just in St. Clair County, but all throughout this great United States. It's always, people, do as I say if they're politicians, not as I do. I gotta say, happy days are here again. The zip tie rapist's death is ruled a suicide. You remember we talked about him a little bit back in the day. The gentleman, and I shouldn't even say that, the asswipe, low-life, jerk-off bastard, got a 56-year prison sentence for zip tying in the hands. Remember the 10-year-old young lady, raping her and videotaping the assault? Well, guess what? Had a good day yesterday. The no-good son of a bitch hung himself. And I do want to say for his family, who was no part of this, I feel for them, because they lost a son, they lost a brother, maybe a husband, maybe a dad. But we the people, we gained some freedom from another no-good son of a bitch who rapes children. This guy shouldn't deserve to live a second. But he took a blanket. Hey, for all you guys wanting to commit suicide in prison that have raped young women, have killed people, who have done these egregious acts, listen to me. You take the sheet, see, and you take it off the bed. You tie it up in the ceiling somewhere. Then you tie it around your neck. You get up on your couch. You make it real tight. Then you jump off the couch. I want to assist you, asswipe, no good for nothing son of a bitches, because I want to get rid of you stupid no count. And I got to say, I want to salute the politicians. They're not as bad as these rapists, these child rapists. They rape us all of our tax dollars. They rape us all of our freedoms. They rape us all of having a decent life for us and our families. But they're not as bad as this son of a bitch. Gary M.J. Michael Groden pulled a bed sheet through the mount of the upper deck of his cell, tied it to the other end around his neck, and flop, he was gone. What a great day. What a great day for everybody. And I know people will say, hey, Romanik, that's not right. Well, it's not right for that no-good son of a bitch to do what he's done. What else we got to talk about before we take a break? We got Mayor Eckert. I can't believe, people. He's going to get a $10,000, $12,000 raise when it's all said and done. He'll be making $85,000 to $95,000 to $100,000 a year in Belleville. He doesn't lead Belleville. He drives around in that police car, wastes the money that a policeman could be out there. But they all think they're big shots. We're going to do our housekeeping. We're going to come back. Carl Officer just walked into the house. Lines are always open. Kim McAvey, I got to say, $6 lunches. You've really stooped to the bottom, and I tell you what, I wouldn't eat that crap. Did you learn how to do that in prison? I want to know, McAfee. Give me a call. Don't get on Facebook. Give me a call and tell us all why they call you butt boy in prison, you little bitch boy. Let me know, will you, McAfee? International diva Miss Wren Smith. Before we go to break, I want to thank Mr. Reinhardt and all the great people at Reinhardt's Tavern in Millstadt, Illinois. We had a meet and greet last night, had a great bunch of people, great crowd. So Mr. Reinhardt and everyone in Millstadt, thank you very much for the great reception. Appreciate your support, your kind words. And I want to thank Gene Quirin for orchestrating that. Gene, thank you very much for all you do for the cause. We'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio at its finest. And we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, your guardian of the First Amendment, radical radio, and we are, as always, very, very proud to be the Patriot. You know, we've been talking about all the felons on their side. The felons on their side, that's okay. Not on our side, but on their side. Someone told me yesterday they ought to call the new name for Kim McAfee, and I don't know why they would call him this. So they said, call him, his new nickname needs to be Kim Sticky Buns McAfee. Now, I don't know. Sticky Buns, that sounds good. Hey, Kim Sticky Buns McAfee. Stay out of the showers in prison if you go back. In the rate you're going, in my opinion, you will go back. And also had somebody call and ask if there's East St. Louis Health District has food truck licenses. I don't think so. If you got a license to sell your $6 plates, McAfee, wherever the hell you sell them in Brooklyn, this guy in Brooklyn if he got sick from your food instead of getting sick from the Chinese food out that way, that must be some bad crap. With me, our good friend, as always, Mayor Carl Officer, co-chairman of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, and your candidate for St. Clair County coroner. And Carl, I'm watching the news today, and what really struck me, and it doesn't have much to do with politics, other than our politicians aren't sticking behind our policemen. There was a police lady in Chicago, got the hell beat out of her. It was on tape. And afterwards, it took 2 or 3 policemen to get this guy who was on all kind of drugs. The tasers didn't work. She said she was afraid to pull her gun out and protect herself because she didn't want to get in trouble, maybe get indicted. And I got to say, for all you professional police officers, not the few bums with badges, I'm the ex-chief of police in Washington Park. I always told my officers 2 things. The second most important thing you can do is protect the public. That's what you're sworn to do. But the most important thing you could ever do is come home safe to your family, because they're the only ones that truly love you and respect you. But Mayor, when we get in this society that policemen are not only afraid to take care and to protect the citizens to go out of the way, they're afraid to protect themselves. I mean, what the hell has this country come to?
Well, good morning, Bob.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Fine.
All right. Let me tell you something. I have had the occasion to have been personally protected by police officers, both while I was in office and before and after I've been in office. I've seen police officers come to my aid and my assistance, my families, my friends, neighbors. I have nothing but the highest respect for officers, because it is the toughest job in public service, bar none. And I can't imagine how a man or woman every day goes to work, leaves their family, not knowing what they're going to be called upon on their normal shift to do. And in today's climate, to have to second guess their training, have to second guess their abilities when they're being attacked personally, and this woman is afraid to defend herself. And as you just pointed out, is she's had someone that was so out of control that 3 other men with tasers couldn't get him off of her, how much fear was in her heart, was in her mind. I hope that, I watch the TV shows, I'm sure you and other persons do. I don't think any television show can dramatically give the ins and outs of the psychological problems and burdens that people have to deal with. I can just speak for myself. When I see certain cases of death, it bothers me. There's no way in the world that the lady stopped me last time. We were down at the great restaurant in Millstadt, and she was telling me about one of her clients, one of her customers, and used to come to her dad's store when those 11 children got burned in East St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
I still have some thoughts about that. I remember seeing my father actually break down when all 11 of those caskets came into the funeral home, before he put one of those babies in those caskets. So, I can imagine how it would affect this lady and how it's going to affect her and her family for years and years to come. We have to be a more sensitive, caring society when it comes to the men and women, and it's the police officers. Think about, like I've heard you say so many times, think about the EMTs, the people who drive the ambulances, the people who work in the emergency rooms. They are confronted with these situations with the officers, with the victims, with all the other persons. There's a whole myriad, there's an army of support personnel. There's no way in the world it doesn't affect them. Yeah. I think that we're going to have to become more diplomatic in our training, more aggressive in our support of personnel, emergency personnel who to take care. I listened to, and this has been, about 15 years they've had this war now in overseas? A 5-year-old, I heard this morning on the Morning Joe, a 5-year-old kid 15 years ago is now serving as a young lieutenant in Afghanistan. Can you imagine what his family is thinking about? His family has seen 9/11. His family has seen their home and everything, all their investments, their 401k, their life savings wiped out in 2008. Now they got a child who was 5 years old 15 years ago, is now facing life and death every day in a foreign land, and we don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I think to all this, and while you were talking, I remember Michael Brown, the thug that got killed. It took me a while to remember the police officer whose life was destroyed, Darren Wilson. And the only reason I want to bring up that Ferguson situation is, once it gets started, it's going to, people say, well, that's a police problem. It's not a police problem. It's everybody's problem. I feel for the police officers, a lot of great police officers out there, but I think that's the trend. Not only are these policemen not going to want to protect us, they're not going to want to go. I remember back in the day when they said there was a shooting, hell, we got in our cars, we wanted to be there. We wanted to protect the people. Anymore, I think these police officers want to stay away from that, and that is affecting us. And now when they don't want to even, or they can't psychologically pull a gun out to protect their own lives, I think everybody in general is going to wish that something had happened. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud to be the Patriots. As you always know, here at Insane Broadcasting, we are insane because we do not give a damn, people. I was just informed, it's alleged at this time, but it's alleged that Patty Sprague was so livid over us exposing them, her husband, and the Democratic culture of corruption in St. Clair County. It's alleged at this time that she assaulted one of our campaign workers on the elevator at the courthouse. This campaign worker is going up to get a warrant. Now, Brendan Kelly and all you son of a bitches up there, you guys let a Mrs. Sasquatch Kern sign a complaint on me that was found not guilty in 5 minutes, state record time that cost you good people in St. Clair County $150,000. Just want to remind you. Now, I want to see if they're going to let our worker, our campaign worker, file a complaint against Patty Sprague. I'll bet you they'll take it to a federal, state, intergalactic grand jury. I'm demanding that we get equal treatment. When I say we, I don't just mean, yes, I do. I mean the people of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, because all of us people out there, in our hearts and minds, you're all members of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, Democrats, Republican, men, women, black and white, because we're tired of this crap at the courthouse. They wouldn't let our campaign workers in to witness the absentees. That asswipe, no-count, good-for-nothing Mr. Haney, Tom Holbrook. And Holbrook, I hope Derek Wallace exposes you for what the hell you are. And again, I don't know how to get a hold of this Derek Wallace. Somebody said just go to Derek Wallace on the computer and you can Google him. On Google, they told me. I don't know. But all this crap going on, all the felons in the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee support Tom Holbrook for these salacious alleged allegations. And they want to talk bad about Bob Romanik. People, we got him on the run. And when I say we, I say all of us. All of us in St. Clair County have these 5% of this culture of corruption on the run. We've got a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Pony Boy?
Hello.
Yeah, this is my stage name, Pony Boy. I'd like to get a message out to one of your listeners.
Go ahead, Pony Boy.
Yes, his name is, they call him Sweet Cakes down here at the club.
Okay.
I'd like for him to know that they switched me from second shift to first shift, and the manager come back with his manager special, 2-for-1 lap dance.
Wait a minute. Is this a male strip club? Are you working a male strip club?
Well, yes, I got to make a living, Bob.
And wait a minute now. You're saying, what about Sweet Cakes?
Well, just tell him that they moved Pony Boy from night shift to day shift, and the manager has the new special 2-for-1 lap dances again.
Well, I guess, thank you. Now this guy is telling, hey, Sweet Cakes, we got a call from Pony Boy. I hope you're not riding Pony Boy at the all-male review, but hey, Pony Boy, thank you very much. People ask me why I call Sweet Cakes. He got that name a long time ago. And I've just asked him several times, and I don't know. I'm just asking, Mark Sweet Cakes, Kern, are you gay? It's no big deal. There's a lot of gay people in the gay community. A lot of people that ain't gay that ain't in the gay community. But if you were, I say if you were, I don't blame you, because with your ugly, skanky old lady, I don't know if I could go with men. I'd have to go out and find me a lady, if you know what I... Whoa.
Where's the dress? Tell me where's the dress? Where's the dress?
Now, Mo, let's get on down to the store and get some lipstick and some rouge.
Where's the dress? Hey, Joe, why don't we do this thing up right and get some of them ostrich plumes?
You know,
where's the dress?
I was wondering if they made a pink pump in a size 12, Mo.
Hey, Pony Boy, thanks for the call. I'll relay the message. Mark Sweet Cakes Kern, Pony Boy, said he's been transferred over to the late shift, and he said you could get a 2-for-1 private dance, and you can ride the pony, if you know what I mean, Kern, and I think you do. But I'll tell you what, I thought I was the craziest son of a bitch going, but Mayor, we got just a couple minutes. But on a serious note, this election in St. Clair County, I hope the people that have been screwed by the Democrats, and I see here it says Illinois, they're forcing Illinoisans out of their houses because of property tax. I just hope, Mayor, that everybody in St. Clair County, Democrat, Republican, men, women, black and white, understand the severity of this situation. Now, I can go crazy all day long, but when we talk serious, it is serious. The people of St. Clair County, our standard of living is going down, Mayor. It's continued to go down for the last 15, 20 years under this Democratic lack of leadership. Now, we're running on the Republican ballot, but I have to say most of us are independent. Most of us don't give a damn about politics. We give a damn about the people of St. Clair County, and I just hope that resonates with them on November the 8th.
Well, Bob, you're absolutely right. That's why it's so important that the people elect the Freedom Coalition members. Roger Cook, 4 years in a row as mayor of Belleville, reduce taxes, reduce crime. You can't say enough about that. Gary Cornwell, to be the auditor of St. Clair County, we don't have a foggy clue right now how much debt the county is in, where the county money's been gone. I'm comfortable that if Gary can get in there and take a look at those books and audit those independent offices, we will find out very clearly by this time next year, we may not ever have to look at a tax increase for the taxpayers of St. Clair County. We may be looking at rebates going to the taxpayers
and
of St. Clair
criminal
County.
charges when it's all over.
And then you take a look at Ed Cockrell. Who knows more about the property tax situation and understanding fair and equitable taxes than Ed Cockrell? Across the board, we've got the best, the most qualified, the most compassionate and understanding candidates who are running for these public offices. We've got 4 former mayors.
Right. With a lot of administration
who understand
experience.
how government runs and who are not committed to any of this culture corruption mess. And then, I know you won't blow your own horn that much, but we got to have somebody in Springfield that can't be compromised by the governor or by the Speaker of the House. Somebody who's going to stand up and tell it like it is. And I thought about this last night when I left the restaurant. What does a representative do but represent his people?
Right.
He doesn't do any administrative work, but he's there to represent the wishes and the best interest for the people that he represents. And that's why I know unequivocally that you are the best person, bar man, woman, young, old, black, white. You need to be in Springfield to fight for us. And I think that the people next 21 days, they understand it. They're going to vote for this Freedom Coalition. We can't become complacent. I'm sad to hear that they accosted our campaign worker in the elevator of the courthouse this morning. But it just tells me 2 things. 1, we've got to continue to keep the pressure, the heat on these folks. And 2, we can't get to the point where we think we got this thing won. No, these people, they're there. If they're in Holbrook's office this morning, they're there to try to figure out how many votes we may already have for early voting and how to steal some more votes. I can't press that enough to you. I don't know what Trump's talking about nationally. I just know about East St. Louis. I know how they steal votes in East St. Louis. I know how they steal votes in Cahokia. I know how they steal votes in Allerton and Centerville. And we are going to have to get every vote we can from New Athens, from Summerfield, from Smithton, from Muscooda, from Millstadt, from Belleville, and East St. Louis, because these guys are hell-bent on stealing this election from the Freedom Coalition and ultimately from the people of St. Clair County.
Mr. Carl Officer, your candidate for St. Clair County Coroner and co-chairman of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition. And Carl, you're right. Let me tell you, I'm probably the worst candidate on our side, and that's okay. I probably deserve that title. But I will tell all the people of the 114th Legislative District, as you've heard, I will not take a salary. I'll not take benefits. I will demand that those ass-white bastards, both Democrat and Republican politicians, take half salary because it's a part-time job. I'll demand that they have no pensions for a part-time job. And I will demand that the people in the state of Illinois get treated like decent people instead of the bums. They're trying to treat us like bums, people, because that's what they think of us. That's what these politicians like. They like to beat the hell out of us psychologically, like to take our money. Then on election day, they're going to kiss your ass. No more ass kissing, people. We don't want our ass kissed. We want to kick some ass. and I'm going to go to Springfield, and I'm going to kick all those asses because I don't give a damn about Rauner. I don't give a damn about Madigan. I give a damn about people, and I sincerely give a damn about the people of the 114th Legislative District, and you elect me, you're going to see one crazy son of a bitch up there because sanity hasn't worked. Insanity may. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting at its finest. America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical Radio, and we are, as always, very proud to be the Patriots. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to fight. We're going to fight the fight, people. And I'm serious as a heart attack. We can't let personalities get involved. It's too late in the game. People are losing their houses to high taxes. People are losing their lives. They're losing their jobs. Let's don't lose our freedoms. Let's think about the way this government, the way especially St. Clair County has went the last 40 years. Are you better off? Hell no, we're not. Kern's going to lie to you in the paper that he's worried about developing the riverfront. They could have developed it 12, 15, 30 years ago. Bob Romanik will fight from day one to develop that riverfront because Bob Romanik's from East St. Louis, as a lot of us are, and I want to go back. I want to have something to go back to East St. Louis for. It's not against the blacks. It's against the politicians. That's why East St. Louis has never been developed. Give us a chance. Give the new guys on the block a chance, people. You'll see at the end of the day, you'll get a lot better representation. And more than that, you'll get respect. You'll get respect that's due you that you haven't gotten in the last 40 years with the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption. So let's continue to unite together. Let's expose these rotten bastard, political, parasitical, perverted, punk, low-life, bottom-feeding, asswipe, jerk-off son of a bitches that we call politicians. And on November the 8th, 3 weeks from today, let's all get out there. You apathetic people, let's all get out there and let's change it. Let's make history in St. Clair County. It can't be any worse, people. So on November the 8th, let's go to the polls. Let's pull out that political gun, which is your pen. Let's shoot that bullet, which is your vote for us. And let's destroy these son of a bitches who've been destroying us for the last 40 years and lying every 4 years about what they're going to do. Nothing ever changes. Let's make a positive change. Let's vote the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, who you are part of, whether you know it or not. You want to be free. You want good government, not corrupt government. So let's destroy them on November the 8th. Let's vote them out of office. Destroy them, you hear me? Politically, of course, right here on the dark side.